Assalamu alaikum. Sajid elaborates and explains things in a very extensive and comprehensive manner. I'm more of a simple person. So let me start with two paradigms, exactly what he stated, but in an anecdotal as well as an anomaly process way. पहला anecdotal ये है कि अभी recently, last year in fact, we were invited by New York Stock Exchange, and there was a panel discussion with BlackRock, ourselves, and Intercontinental Exchange, which is a company that owns New York Stock Exchange, and they provide data and technology to 70 capital markets of the world. And the room was filled with the CEOs and managing directors of 130 plus wealth management institutions. और इस पूरे 2.5 घंटे के process में conversation क्या थी? So in this decade, we are seeing the biggest intergenerational wealth transfer that is happening all across the world. यानी पिछली generation से नई generation के पास $68 trillion plus की wealth transfer हो रही है. Just imagine the quantum. So we are looking at an intergenerational wealth transfer of $68 trillion plus, and 130 plus wealth management institutions in the world are wondering कि green, sustainability, ESG क्या role play करेंगे इस wealth transfer में. सवाल ये था वहाँ कि इस नई जनरेशन जो कि कंज्यूम भी करेगी और इन्वेस्ट भी करेगी, इनके कंजम्पशन थीसिस और इनके इन्वेस्टमेंट थीसिस इस लेंस के साथ कैसे बदलेंगे? क्या ग्रीन, ESG, सस्टेनेबिलिटी, कंजम्पशन और इन्वेस्टमेंट के पैराडाइम को ऑल्टर करेगी, चेंज करेगी, या इट्स इररेलेवेंट? 2.5 घंटे की डिलिब्रेशंस के बाद एक मुत्तफ़िका राय ये आई कि going forward, this $68 trillion consumption and investment both would have a cornerstone lens of sustainability, green and ESG. So आपका सबसे बड़ा जो global stakeholder है, वो इसको एक cornerstone बना रहा है. So that's one part of the changing landscape where capital that Sajid mentioned is moving and already moved towards that. So that's one opportunity. ये साइड पे हो गया. चलें, एक सवाल है आप लोगों से कि चेस कौन-कौन खेलता है यहाँ? How many of you understand the chess board? Quite a few. So right now, the world is playing a 4-dimensional chess against nature. When I say 4-dimensional chess, उसके बड़े इंटरेस्टिंग पैरामीटर्स हैं इस वक्त, जिसमें जियोपॉलिटिक्स, रेगुलेशन, कैपिटल, ट्रेड और FDI सारे इंटीग्रेटेड हैं. Let me take a step back. Mandatory reporting, जिससे सब बड़े परेशान होते हैं on ESG, is happening all across the world. Europe has already become mandatory reporting. APAC region is going through a mandatory reporting phase. Saudi, UAE, and Middle East is, in the next 2 years, will become mandatory reporting. We recently were in China. China is the supplier of the world. Guess what is happening over there? So Chinese government has committed to 2 things very clearly, that by 2030, China will peak its emissions And by 2060, they will achieve the target of carbon neutrality through their transition mechanism. Now this, ladies and gentlemen, is something very powerful. The supplier of the world in products and services has committed that it is moving in that direction. The global ESG paradigm is moving towards mandatory reporting. Where is Pakistan? Yesterday, I was listening to our finance minister's speech, and he, amongst many other things, focused on two things: population and climate. Now, let me bring that climate point to what Sajid just shared. Pakistan has the opportunity to move from 2G to 3G to directly 7G vis-a-vis green and ESG. What is required? The policy and framework taxonomies, alhamdulillah, we are already in play there. Is money available? Absolutely. Money is available from across the world, whether it's pension funds, sovereign funds, loss and damage funds, the number is already there. So climate finance is available, your taxonomy and policy and frameworks are there. What is missing to achieve that? It's the capability of all the industries that are sitting on these tables, their ability to understand and implement the local, regional, and global frameworks into their systems. इसका impact खाली institutional level पे नहीं आएगा. We have a framework called ICIS. Individuals, communities, institutions, and systemic transformation. Systemic transformation, we are achieving that. Great policy frameworks already embedded. Community resilience, adaptation, mitigation, we all know about. Direct impact is on individuals. Missing link कहाँ है? कि हमारे funds, asset managers, banks, insurance companies who are the distributors of these regulations and has an end-to-end exposure to the transactions, they need to enable and integrate these policy frameworks, local and global, for FDIs, for trade and exports. The quicker we do that, the better it would be for us as an economy. And lastly, I just want to stress on one thing. Please, let's change the paradigm on two fronts. Number one, sustainability is not a cost. Sustainability is an investment, and it is an intergenerational investment. Secondly, please do not take sustainability or ESG as merely compliance and risk. It is an opportunity for ROI. It is an opportunity for valuation gain. It is an opportunity for price premium. It is an opportunity for market growth. It is an opportunity for access to capital. If we transform these two thinkings, in the next 2 to 5 years, Pakistan could be actually a contributor to the solutions rather than just asking for the loss and damage fund. Thank you so much.
We can open the floor for question. Meanwhile, if there's any question, if somebody can raise hand and we can. Okay, so there's a question there.
Ji, Assalamu alaikum. Just wanted to have some idea about a guideline for the university, because where you can find some generations, new generations. So do you have any kind of a roadmap so that we can get this green economy with the help of this young generation that we are teaching at the university? Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you. So I think from a university, first we have to see how we should be structuring the education right now, given the urgency and the opportunity. So there is a certain learnings or a skill which working professionals have to develop. That might be a 20 hours to 30 hours training. That's what it takes. Or for the board level, 4 to 8 hours training to understand this space. So this is important. So the opportunity first identified at the corporate and the public sector level, and at the same time, we have to create that talent to take it over in the next 5 to 10 years, because these working professionals will start working on something today, and then there has to be a talent pipeline. So for university, I think the ESG or climate is one of a subject which we are seeing more and more embedded in every area of knowledge, whether you are talking about engineering, computer sciences, humanities, accounting, finance, or any profession you pick up, banking side of it, any type of profession you pick up, the climate consideration is there. And there are courses which are available, and they are publicly available as well, online as well. You can have a very specialized one where you can learn about it. So for university, I always suggest to start with a very small, the online courses which are available, and try to help the student to run in an assisted mode. So don't let them do that independently. They are very young to understand some of the terminology. So run maybe a 2-hour session in an assisted way, and then start embedding that in the curriculum, that what the climate or ESG dimensions mean for any profession. But globally, this is the direction universities are taking in terms of building that talent going forward. And, okay.
I have a question.
Yep.
May I? Okay. So the question comes to both of you, Faraz and Sajid. We've seen the e-challan becoming very effective, and everybody's stopping at signals even at 3 a.m. Penalty works better in terms of, instead of incentives. So when we talk about ESG compliance, is there a penalty framework for non-compliance? Because I think that would bring the landscape change that we are talking about.
Sure. So you want to take first, and then I'll bring the Pakistan response.
Hello, yeah. It is very unfortunate. Thank you for this question, actually. We as humans, unfortunately, respond more towards saza rather than doing the right thing on its own. And that's the nature of the human race, as well as the systems that have evolved over decades. In the evolved mandatory reporting environments, penalties are very much in place. और penalties के इनकी दो अक़साम हैं. एक, जो कि अगर आप claim करते हैं कुछ कि आप green हैं, और regulator इस चीज़ को पकड़ लेता है कि वो green नहीं है, तो severe penalties हैं. Recently, I wouldn't take the name, but there are 2 funds in Europe that were penalized between $60 to $80 million simply because they claimed that their portfolio was green, and when the regulators actually went in detail, they realized it was not. So reputational damage, as well as financial damage, it is happening all across the world. So this is going to happen in Pakistan, in all these environments in times to come. So it's better to prepare now. Number 2, you must be hearing that recently communities are suing governments for not doing enough. Now that is another form of penalty for the governments. If, like in Switzerland, the communities sued the Swiss government for not doing enough. In India as well, there was a recent case, and in some other countries as well, it's evolving. And these precedences are creating repercussions for businesses as well as the governments. So you will see in times to come that ये जो penalties की ये 2 किस्में हैं, वो उसका frequency और impact बढ़ता जाएगा, जिससे businesses और industries majorly suffer करेंगे.
Yeah. Thank you, Shah. I'll just add on that one. I think we have to see the behavior from a 2 different perspectives. One is the behavior which is an individual behavior. जो अब हम individual behavior की बात करते हैं तो हमारा, और अभी मैं बाकी दुनिया पे नहीं जाता, I'll just stick to Pakistan. हम individually हमारा general behavior ये होता है जहन्नुम से बचना है. जन्नत में जाने के लिए जो काम करना है उस पर हम इतना फोकस नहीं करते, जहन्नुम से बचने का पहला हमारा होता है। लेकिन यही चीज़ जब आप बिजनेस पे लेके जाते हैं तो nobody is running a business to avoid the losses. They are running a business to make money, right? So their behaviors are very, very different, right? So अगर as a business we cannot see that opportunity तो हम compliance को prioritize करेंगे। और पाकिस्तान में लकीली स्टेट बैंक का जो इनिशिएटिव है जो नवंबर में अब इस वक्त मैंडेटरी हो रहा है कि कोई भी फाइनेंशियल सर्विस आपने लेनी है, चाहे वो एलसी है, चाहे वो आपका लोन है, कोई भी फैसिलिटी आपने लेनी है तो उनको बताना ज़रूर है अब कि इन्वायरमेंट और सोशल रिस्क आपका क्या है और कैसे मैनेज कर रहे हैं, ठीक है। ये अब इंफॉर्मेशन बेयर मिनिमम हो गई है लोन के रिन्यूअल के लिए, इक्विटी फंडिंग के लिए, आप बीएफआई से बात कर लें तो ये वाला कंप्लाइंस आ गया है। So ये compliance is now putting the businesses in a situation where they have to start measuring or monitoring something. अब there is another lens कि वो इसको स्टेट बैंक के लेंस से देख रहे हैं या इसको एक ऐसे लेंस से देख रहे हैं जहाँ पे they can access Kyber-3 as a funding line, right? So blended finance का मॉडल देख रहे हैं, क्या we are educating ourselves enough कि हम वो नए फाइनेंशियल इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स लेके आएँ जहाँ पे अगर मैं अच्छा काम कर रहा हूँ तो मेरा कॉस्ट ऑफ फंडिंग कम होना शुरू हो जाए। अब यहाँ पे लकीली अगेन स्टेट बैंक ने बड़ा अच्छा रेगुलेशन दिया है, उसने कहा है कि ग्रीन बैंकिंग में बैंक्स हैव टू एक्ट एज अ एडवाइजर एज वेल। सो इट्स नॉट ओनली दैट दे हैव टू जस्ट यूज अ वन टूल कि आपने इन्वायरमेंट और सोशल पे क्या किया है, वो कहते हैं दे हैव टू एडवाइज द क्लाइंट कि उन्हें क्या करना चाहिए और आगे अपॉर्चुनिटी और रिस्क कैसे मैनेज करना है। तो ये फ्रेमवर्क एग्जिस्ट करता है, लेकिन अगेन क्या इसकी जर्नल अवेयरनेस है तो शायद अभी नहीं है उस तरीके से। लेकिन अगर आप बैंकर से बात करें, अभी हम आईएफसी के बिहाफ पे एक ट्रेनिंग रन कर रहे थे WWF और आईएफसी की, वहाँ पे बैंकर्स और मैन्युफैक्चरिंग साइड दोनों इकट्ठे थे। बैंकर्स का इशू ये था कि इस रेगुलेशन और कंप्लाइंस की वजह से वो लोन डिसबर्स नहीं कर पाएंगे, उनके ग्रोथ टारगेट नहीं अचीव होंगे, और मैन्युफैक्चरिंग का ये था कि हम इसको अचीव नहीं कर पाएंगे बिकॉज इट्स सच अ न्यू एरिया, कैपेसिटी एग्जिस्ट नहीं करती। और फिर जब हमने रोल प्ले करवाया तो वही बैंकर्स ने वहाँ बैठ के उनको एडवाइस किया कि आपने अपनी चीज़ें किस तरह करनी है। तो उस रोल प्ले में दे फिगर्ड इट आउट कि बैंक ने क्या रोल प्ले करना है और मैन्युफैक्चरिंग ने क्या करना है। इट्स नॉट अ रॉकेट साइंस, इट्स जस्ट दैट इट्स अ न्यू लैंग्वेज एंड पीपल हैव टू अलाइन देमसेल्फ यूजिंग द डेफिनेशंस व्हिच आर ऑलरेडी। पाकिस्तान बहुत एडवांस स्टेज पे है, उन्होंने चीज़ें डिफाइन कर दी हैं, स्टैंडर्डाइज कर दी हैं। नाउ वी हैव टू लेवरेज एज अ बैंकर, एज अ बिजनेस, फाइनेंशियल सर्विसेज साइड पे और मैन्युफैक्चरिंग और बिजनेस साइड पे हमने उन डेफिनेशंस को यूज़ करना है, एंड देन वी कैन हैव अ लोकल एक्सेस टू मनी, बट मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंटली वी विल हैव अ international money which we can get here in Pakistan. So behavior side पे compliance और incentive का फ़र्क है individual और business side पे. We just have to change the lens a little bit.
Hello, Sajid. First of all, I would like to commend you for your continued efforts. I've seen you over years on the climate change in Pakistan, and let me say that the awareness which has come in, you have a lot of contribution, and well done for this. That's one. Secondly, our contribution to the emissions is less than 0.25%, and we did not throw all this muck in the air. They were doing the industrial revolution, but we are the fifth one to take the brunt. So we didn't cause it, but we're taking the brunt. That's not a mitigating statement that I'm making, but the fact that you bring in the structures have been made, but then the real banking projects where you get the money, and I really want you to stress on this and say, is it our capacity which is a problem, or the processes which have been made by these countries which are too stringent that we cannot follow it? Because money needs to come in, and not only for the destruction-oriented, the flood-oriented, but we need to bring in structural changes into the industry and all this. Are we lacking on competence and capacity to make the bankable projects, or the criteria are too tough? Thank you.
Pick one and I'll hand over. Sir, I think the first thing is definitely the capacity education and the knowledge side of it. So the regulations are very flexible. If we look at State Bank or we look at SECP, they are very, very pro to go for the green फंडिंग, फाइनेंसिंग एंड द फाइनेंशियल इंस्ट्रूमेंट, जिसमें SECP ने जेंडर बॉन्ड भी दिया, ग्रीन बॉन्ड भी दिया, अभी ब्लू बॉन्ड्स भी आ रहे हैं। स्टेट बैंक ने बहुत ज़्यादा फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी दी हुई है इसमें ग्रीन बैंकिंग इनिशिएटिव और लोन डिज़ाइन और प्रोडक्ट की साइड पे डिज़ाइनिंग की। लेकिन द नॉलेज बेस विच एग्जिस्ट राइट नाउ विद इन द बैंकर एंड द रिस्क एपिटाइट to bring new product, I think that will be coming from the asset management side first. before the banks will start picking it up, because they have already funded certain entities जिसमें उनका बहुत ज़्यादा cash जो है वो already deployed है. So if they go to the private sector with these new things, so that's a different risk appetite. So capacity issue है, knowledge issue है, रिस्क एपिटाइट इशू है और फिर लीडरशिप इशू है. अगर हम इसको देखें, यही चीज़ जो ज़्यादा स्ट्रेंजेंट और अनस्ट्रक्चर्ड इन्वायरमेंट में यूएई ने किया, उनके पास तो ये रेगुलेशंस और ये सारे अभी इस शेप में भी नहीं है. बट दुबई बीइंग टू गो फर्स्ट ऑन एवरीथिंग, सो दे स्टार्टेड वर्किंग ऑन सस्टेनेबिलिटी लिंक लोन. और ये हमेशा फाइनेंशियल सेक्टर होता है जो बिजनेस साइड पे इंसेंटिवाइज करता है कि अगर आप ऐसे कर लेंगे तो पैसा आसानी से आ जाएगा, तो वो भी अपने प्रोजेक्ट्स को अलाइन कर लेते हैं. बिजनेस साइड पे भी, प्रोजेक्ट पाइपलाइन में भी कैपेसिटी इज द वन ऑफ अ की इशू, कि कौन से 800 में से वो कौन से 4 KPIs हैं, अगर वो उन्हें ट्रैक करना शुरू करेंगे तो दे कैन एक्सेस दैट काइंड ऑफ फंडिंग. और ये फंडिंग हमेशा पेशेंट होती है, इसकी कॉस्ट कंपैरेटिवली कम होती है, और इसमें फिर और भी बहुत से स्ट्रक्चर, पेरिस एग्रीमेंट से लेके बहुत से नए फाइनेंशियल इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स आ गए हैं जो इसको फर्दर लेवरेज करने में बहुत हेल्प करते हैं. और फिर लिक्विडिटी जनरेट हो जाती है कंट्री लेवल पे. अगर आपके पास ये पैसा बाहर से आता है तो दैट स्टार्ट जनरेटिंग लिक्विडिटी. और अगर आप एसेट मैनेजमेंट और ग्रीन बॉन्ड, ब्लू बॉन्ड, इवन जेंडर बॉन्ड्स के थ्रू करते हैं, तो आप कैपिटल मार्केट के थ्रू भी वो लिक्विडिटी बिजनेसेस के लिए जनरेट कर सकते हैं. इट्स अगेन गोज बैक टू द करेज, knowledge, capacity, and then sitting together, working together and creating a first success case. और UAE ने किया है, बाकी भी दुनिया ने किया है, कनाडा में इस वक्त हो रहा है सस्टेनेबिलिटी लिंक लोन. तो इसका मतलब है फाइनेंशियल इंस्ट्रूमेंट बन भी गए हैं, टेस्ट भी हो गए, हमें रेप्लिकेट करने की ज़रूरत है. So you want to add something?
No, actually you have elaborated quite in detail. I just want to add 2 points, sir, on this. Number one, we need to be more brave about positioning and claiming. Because आपका जो point है, we have the frameworks, we have the policy, we have good institutions, and we have talent. We have not been able to integrate it, position ourselves, and last, we have not leveraged technology. Now, technology is a level playing field now. And interestingly, our company is conceived out of Pakistan. And we are solving all these challenges globally. तो एक जगह पे मैं और सजीद बैठे हुए थे और वो बोल रहे थे कि यार पाकिस्तान में तो it's quite behind. And we turned around, we said, to be honest, Pakistan is very advanced in terms of its taxonomy, policies, understanding, human resource capability, as well as technology. We are Pakistanis. We have conceived this idea in technology in Pakistan, and we are delivering to the rest of the world. But as a nation and as an industry, I think we need to kind of be a little bit more braver and commit to it.
We can take one more question and then we have to close.
Can I? Adnan Hassan, I.
Already got mic, so we can do during the networking session we can pick it. Please go ahead.
So I'm Adnan Hassan. I'm an investor, but I served for 4 years on the board of IFC. So I am quite familiar with the issues. Obviously, Pakistan ने तो काफ़ी इसकी price pay की है from all the impacts that हुए हैं climate के, और the funding जो है, it is there और आएगी, but it's not at the level that the commitments were made. Or in the meantime, as you must be, of course, very well aware, there's been a backlash against the whole ESG movement. And some of those pension funds and sovereign funds are being sued. And they have actually stepped back a bit from taking the lead on this whole issue about sustainability in ESG. तो आप लोग इसको कैसे देख रहे हैं? Local stage तो मैं समझ गया हूँ, लेकिन जो दुनिया में जो pendulum swing हुआ है अभी, sort of the woke capitalism की जो सारी pushback हुई है, the lawsuits that have been filed against pension funds and sovereign funds for including ESG in their reporting requirements. So where are you seeing this thing settling in अगले 3, 4, 5 साल में? आप कहाँ देख रहे हैं इसको जो global level पे pushback हुआ है?
You want to pick it up?
Can I take it?
Yeah, please.
Thank you. Very relevant question. Recently जो US में जो administration change आया, जिसकी वजह से खासा एक knee-jerk reaction आया है, and you're very right about that. लेकिन what is happening on the sub-levels? 4 major funds have pulled out their money from the US. 25 plus states have joined back the Paris Accord. And the sustainability reporting data and its acquisition from platforms like ICE, uski subscription पिछले 3 साल में और बढ़ गई है. So from political narrative side, you're absolutely right. But businesses, they're very clear that this is an FDI play and this is a trade play. CBAM is already in play. जितने आपके अभी, we were recently in Canada, Teachers Pension Fund, 20+% उनका जो portfolio है, that is ESG compliant, and that is going to increase in the next 5 years to around 30-35%. And that is happening all across the world. So yes, there is a pushback from the political side in certain quarters, but the rest of the world is moving very clearly. And when I gave the example of China, that by 2060, they are going to become carbon neutral. And that's a huge signal to the investors, to the businesses, and to the global industries that align yourself. They've got 5,700 plus listed companies across the Chinese paradigm. And the top 100% has been prescribed to change their processes and go through the entire transitions. So yes, on political level, but from business, industry, and investor level, what we are seeing is that they're steaming ahead.
Thank you, Faraz. And just adding a bit there, we can't use ESG as an excuse to generate the lower ROI. So in US, when we are talking about those specific funds who were being sued, so they were the commercial fund with a certain mandate, and they can't use ESG as an excuse for the lower ROI for that matter. So that's why the concept is the blended financial instrument, where you take money from the GCFs of the world, which are very much development focused, you blend it with the commercial capital, and you also add the grant or the impact fund there. And there are a lot of financial instruments which are being created for the public sector, like Amazon Living, $1.5 billion, generating a non-timber revenue and generating an economic and social prosperity for the native people there, right? So you have to really blend it well. So you can't put the money where you have a different mandate and then you use ESG as an excuse for the lower ROI. So that's not possible. You have a fiduciary duty towards whoever provide the money and the mandate. So even when we talk about here the access to funding, we always talk about how to blend it. And the world has created that blended instrument, and those are being tested as well. So those exist out there. So guys, thank you very much. Our time is up. I hope you got some understanding that how the climate as a crisis can be converted into opportunity for the capital allocation. And the entire world, we have seen again and again, the nations who have used the crisis to convert or change the course of direction or course correction, that really helped them to come up very, very strong and capitalize on something which people were not thinking. But again, it will take that kind of leadership, the plan, the KPIs, the execution. But in our case, most of the people are sitting in this room. They just have to make decision and integrate their thought process in the businesses and bring the financial services and the businesses together to create something new and access that kind of funding. So thank you very much.
Faraz, I think this was so wonderful and very actionable items, especially the ICIS format, and we can all start at an individual level. I don't think we need a big conglomerate to do things that we can do by saving trees, by planting more trees, by ensuring no plastic in our lives and stuff like that. छोटे छोटे काम हैं, आसान सहल ज़ुबान में अगर ये बन जाएं, छोटे I don't know, booklets, things that we can do at individual level or आसान ज़ुबान में हो, so that even children and you know a layman can understand कि हम अपने individual level पे ये कर सकते हैं. So a lot of fascinating conversation. 4-dimensional chess was absolute. I'm going to pick your brains on that, Faraz, later. लेकिन सबसे interesting था $68 trillion being transferred intergenerational. I hope I'm one of the recipients, but I don't know whether I'm in that list or not, but this was like super fascinating. Thank you so much. May I please request our Sir Sohail and Sir Shehzad to please join us on stage, and Harun Qasim Saab, Managing Director, Farm Evo Private Limited, for our memento ceremony. We have our traditional books coming as mementos. If I could request Harun Qasim Saab to please give the memento to Faraz. Faraz Khan, CEO and Managing Partner, Spectreco, LLC, USA. If we could have some claps, this will bring a lot of energy back in our room. This was an early morning session, and I think we were so thoroughly engaged in this conversation. If we could have one for Sajid, partner and co-founder, Spectreco, LLC, USA. And now for the group photo.